We'll get Hiram Test and everybody caught up. So we're going to talk about home warranty, and my apologies. So if anybody came to find out about like how do heaters work, how do HVACs work, and all of those things, we're not going to talk about that at all today. We're going to talk about your business, how to grow it, how to protect it, all of those things. Mary's got like little vignettes and stories she's going to share with us.
I'm here as Colette's cheerleader because I use her and I love her, and
we love each other, so we're here to support each other. So if you're interested, I know, Mary, you might want to do this, even though you already have a Real Pro account, you might want to scan this, and it's going to ask for the agency, because not only will it set you up with a Real Pro account to order, which you already have one, so that won't happen, but there's a lot of things that we can send you. They're posts that you can put right on social media. They're not APHW branded. They're about home repairs, home maintenance, return on investment, and different renovations you might do. So it's like the days you're not posting, congratulations to my buyer, or here's my new listing, and you want something quick to put up there, that's content that we can give you. So if anybody needs a minute to scan that, let me know. Otherwise, and your agency number is going to ask for that is 10118. So the biggest difference with us, and I know Dan and Mary know this, we let the homeowner choose whoever they want for repairs. So there's no waiting for us to make an appointment. There's no list that we say, hey, call one of these people and have them come in and do the work. And the reason we do that, what we want to do is make sure we can get whatever problem pops up after closing taken care of quickly. So that's why we want you to use your own contractor. You might have somebody you've been using for years. You as an agent might be able to refer somebody to the buyer and say, hey, call my plumbing guy, he'll come right out. But the sooner you can get that problem taken care of, the more things go back to normal, and you're less likely to just grow into something bigger and turn into a problem. And I'm working with a lot of brokerages right now where they've got a lot of lawsuits. So we'll talk a little bit about the waiting, because we're seeing more and more people coming to us with client secure and looking for assistance with their E&O claim, their deductible. So that's the big reason behind contractor of choice. Get things fixed quickly, get it back to normal. Don't let people get angry and upset and move on to the talent to the judge stage. So this was a survey done before COVID. I think COVID came, and now I still find people are a little bit, they haven't gone back to the way they were before COVID. They're still a little bit like, do I want you in my house? Do you look healthy? I mean, people are definitely still thinking that, but very important to 92%. That's their contractor, and they see them as professional. What a lot of agents tell me is when you're dealing with these contractors that are on a list, sometimes they show up and you don't necessarily want them in your house. And I'm one of those people, for years, my husband, we have 3 kids. He traveled a lot for work. I was home by myself. Things only broke when he was home. Like, things didn't go wrong when he was home. So I was calling somebody, plumber, whoever, come in and fix things. And it was really important to me that the person that showed up was someone I feel comfortable letting in the house. And so I use a company. They're not the cheapest. A lot of my neighbors use them for the same reason. They do the job right the first time, and they feel comfortable letting them in. So we want to make sure every homeowner has that experience. So we did add, and Dan, I don't know if we've talked about this, the identity theft. Sure. Oh, this started earlier this year. So we still have that $4.99 because for some people, for budget-wise, that's what works. But with the $50 deductible plan, we added a year of identity and home title theft protection with up to $1 million in recovery. So that's what's happened because, as you've heard, everybody in the real estate business knows, home equity is at like the highest it's ever been. I forget, it's like trillions of dollars in equity that Americans have in their homes. And now you know what happens. Criminals see, oh, there's a whole big pile of money here. So that's kind of the growing thing. Right now, it is more identity theft is more the problem. And think about the reason that we partnered with AIG is think about how vulnerable a buyer is going into a transaction, whether they're online applying for a mortgage homeowners insurance, all the different things, all the bank transactions, all the things that are going on. It's a lot easier for identity theft to occur. It's a vulnerable time. My sister-in-law, a couple of years ago, bought a house. She lives in Westchester, bought a house at the Jersey Shore. About 2 months or so after they closed on the house at the shore, at their house in Westchester, they got a bill for their Home Depot credit card. Only problem is they didn't have a Home Depot credit card. And it had about $6,000, like the credit limit that was established, charged to them. And they started on this big problem solving with Home Depot. Home Depot at one point threatened to sue them because they decided they didn't want to pay them anything at all, because then it would open the door that they were responsible for this. Mm-hmm. So they ended up having to hire an attorney to fight this. Eventually they did get Home Depot to back off. They probably spent as much on the attorney as they would have if they had just paid off the Home Depot account. But I understand why they fought it. So with something like this in place, if that type of thing happened, AIG would go to work. And AIG would be the one, if they couldn't get Home Depot to back off, they would actually pay off that account. So they have up to $1 million in coverage. It's everyone in the household. So you could be, maybe have a parent living with you, an adult child. And the unfortunate thing also is as soon as you have a baby and they get a social security number, all of a sudden now there's a risk of them having identity theft, which is very, very sad. But we cover every condo, townhouse, new construction, which in the city is if it's like a down to the studs renovation, that would be considered new construction. So that's usually the builder provides that first year, and then we come in years 2, 3, and 4 for $600. So the buyer would walk away from the table $600 in 4 years of home warranty.
I didn't know much about that.
Yeah, it's really good. In fact, I've just been talking to some agents here that are working with condos, and they're going to offer it as the condos are finished. It's finished as a way, to make the buyers feel a little more comfortable, because I think right now buyers are skittish. Prices are still high. Interest rates, while they're not the height of what they had been, and I always joke and say I bought my first house in the 80s. I had not afraid 7%, but the prices are so much higher. So buyers are moving in, and they're seeing that living mortgage payment, which is probably higher than they wanted it to be. So the other thing is then during the listing period, if the seller decides they want to offer, or if you as an agent say, hey, list with me, I'll provide a home warranty. During that period, they can offer the buyer a warranty. They know they're coming in and they've got a safety net if they buy the house, but the seller gets some coverage. And it's mostly electrical, plumbing, hot water heater, some of those basic things. There is an upgrade for $125. They can add their kitchen appliances and their heater and their air conditioner. It's $1,000 in coverage. It's not anything like what the buyer's getting, but it's something, if you are doing an inspection, the seller might have to find something they come back to and say, oh, you know what, that's a claim. And you're the hero because they don't have to spend any money. And I also think sellers have gotten a bad rap in the past few years because everybody talks about how greedy they are. The fact of the matter is most of them are buying another house. They feel like they need every dime to move forward to the next house. So I don't know if it's necessarily great, but they put it on the market and it's like, I do not want to spend another penny in this place, for sure. But List Secure. So what List Secure is, for up to 2 years after closing, if your seller has a legal issue, buyer comes back. If they have the $100 deductible, we're there with $1,000 for legal fees. If they have the $50 deductible plan, we're there with $2,500. So think about something goes wrong, we've got an angry buyer, and you have to have that conversation with your seller. Better to say, you need to consult an attorney, and here's the resources to do it. So it's a different conversation. Yes.
I know in the city, I see a lot of them that sell without being more to get that they did. But when we get out into the county, I know you're probably are you thinking that you're out in the county that matters more when you're selling it?
I would say yes. I think just because there's a different expectation of people outside of the city in a lot of ways. However, I think it is a best practice in the city too, because the baseline, it doesn't cost us anything. So even getting into a place where you're getting a waiver slot, whatever it is, just including it in conversation can be helpful. And then depending on the price point too, like I will occasionally just do warranty out of commission because I know it's a selling point, I know it's a differentiator, and it gives that full protection too. And that's also how I can justify vision too. I'm saying, well, I'm also covering something out that like that's
that.
too. You know, it's like, well, the reasons I charge 3% because I'm getting a warranty that will cover you as the seller as well as for the buyer. You know, so you can build it into your cost structure if you want to.
And Gallup has done a survey that you, with the multiple offers situation when buyers are looking really crazy, you can still get by offering them a warranty to make the buyer comfortable 1 to 3% higher sale price. So think about your average sale price. I know, like say it's $350. If you got 1%, it's $3,500 more you're doing for that seller. Plus the cost of say the $499, you still netted it more.
Yeah.
And that's a conversation to have with a seller. Like, here's something I do. Let me tell you why. Because I want to get you the top dollar in this market. Especially with buyers that are a little skittish, you want to make them feel, you know what, I want this house and I'm going to write my best offer to get it. Yeah. So that's the upgrades, the kitchen appliances and the heating and excuse me, the heating. So this is what we just talked about, that 2 years of legal protection for the seller. And then these are the standard items for the buyer. We added a couple of years ago, washer and dryer used to be an upgrade. We added this as part of the standard coverage. And then we also have exterior water and sewer line that we added about 2 years ago. And that's become a big thing. I know in a lot, it started in, I think Upper Darby was the first township that started requiring that lateral sewer. So now this is only for the buyer, but that's become a hot button. Check that water sewer line.
Well, there you go.
So I have a really couple that they're concerned with about getting warranty on insurance. Because that's technically your landlord. Yeah. So do you have like something I can download, like a PDF form for a buyer so they can go over?
Yeah, it's or
Yeah. And I'll be upstairs.
I'll send you your best.
Oh, they're cute. You're not me. But I'll send it for I had a really couple, they're in their 50s now, down behind. This would be their first home.
Okay.
The fear was always having to be responsible with it, all that stuff. And I'm like, well, that's technically what you're going to manage when you're getting a warranty.
Yeah, it's funny because I have my youngest who's still single and hasn't bought, and I'll check. I think he's at the same figures. I know his kids, he could use it all anywhere and say, hey, fix this. It is kind of scary. I walk into her house, and it's like, if anything goes wrong, we need to take care of this. It's a little bit slower.
Or you don't, and the big.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell my clients, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Go back.
It's gonna be worse. It's like a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
Yours is gonna be worse.
Yeah.
So this is our goal plan. That's the $650 to $50 deductible. Get you that identity theft and home title fraud protection. This is our buyer's premier. So for a single family home, $825 for 10 house condo, $760. It gets you the standard, the buyer's upgrade package, the $50 deductible, and then the 1 year of the AIG coverage too. The average identity theft is usually around $6,000. The home title theft is about $120,000 per instance. So it's just, we've got that $1 million of recovery. Couple of ways they can go with AIG. They can have AIG constantly searching to see if there's something on the dark web. If they choose not to do that, what they can do is find out there's a problem, then they go to AIG, and AIG will still work to resolve it. Some people want them doing that, search I kind of constantly have it under a microscope of people that are taking from it out. If I find out that the Home Depot care shows up, I'm like, I'm there. Then they can just call AIG and say, hey, I need you to work this. So we do have a home entertainment and technology plan. It covers pretty much everything except your cell phone. Everybody's working from home. Kids are doing school from home. When it snows, they don't get school days anymore. So everybody really needs their technology up and running.
Well, sorry, can you go back?
Yeah.
But, so this is just like repair and
It could be replacement.
replacement, okay.
Yeah, even though we don't do replacement on our regular home warranty, this is outsourced to from Tegra, who's the leader in technology warranties. In some cases, they may decide, you know what, we're just gonna replace it. It's kind of on a case-by-case basis. Optional coverage, so mostly in-ground pools is the big one. Gas fireplaces, but things that you add-ons. Buyers have 30 days from closing. If they want to add one of these upgrades, they can. A lot of times, you know, there might be, say somebody offers a warranty on their home on the listing, and that's the standard coverage, and then they move in and it's like, oh, there's a pool. So that's one of the big ones. This is for you as an agent. Client secure. So for up to a year after closing, if you've got the warranty on your transaction or you've got the waiver signed and you submitted the data collection form, we're there if you have any type of E&O claim. So it doesn't have to be about home warranty issues. Any type of E&O claim, we'd be there for you with the waiver or with the $100 deductible, 75% of your E&O deductible up to $37.50. With the $50 deductible plan, we'd be there with 100% up to $5,000. So the thing about it is, if you get in the habit of talking about the home warranty and you feel comfortable, and you don't have to be the expert. You're just talking about, you know, hey, you're a seller. We could possibly get you 1 to 3% higher. You know, after the fact that there's a problem, we're there to help you with legal issues. You don't have to get into the nitty gritty of the coverage. Or a buyer, hey, you know, think about your budget. Something goes wrong. Are you prepared to take those repairs? And then you have that conversation. If they say no, that's fine. Get them to sign the waiver, and I'll show you the data collection form. But that way, you're covered with your E&O. And if you're having that conversation with every single person you have a transaction with, you're going to be covered either way. So you might be covered if you have the $50 deductible. It might be your entire E&O. But at the very least, it would be $37.50. So you want to limit the amount. You work really hard for your money. I know I was an agent. I worked on the brokerage side for over 20 years as a relocation director. I know how hard we work. It's not HGTV and, you know, someone's and all of that fun stuff. Sometimes it's fun and it's glamorous, but there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes, right, to get there. So we want to make sure you hang on to as much of your hard-earned money as you possibly can. And you know, you bring us into the transaction. We're not really in front of the buyers and sellers, you are. So we want to be your partner. We're not here to be a vendor, we want to be your partner. Something goes wrong, it's like, hey, come to us. That's what we're here for. So that is a great way to protect yourself. But if you think about it, if you have the conversation about a home warranty with one client, you really should have it with everybody. They can choose, or you can choose, you know, hey, on listings, I'm offering this. This is why you want to list with me. And say to buyers, I highly counsel you to get this, or hey, this is important. This is your closing gift because I want you to have this. Whatever that conversation looks like, but if you have it with one person, have it with everyone.
We especially use it in special vacations on one side, because then there's only like a few things that you really need to get done, but like there's plenty of stuff that in an older home things work, but you can tell stuff is not.
Yeah.
But there's nothing you can really be like, hey, fix this. Because it's working, we will negotiate the purchase of a warranty by the seller to help satisfy. Yeah.
I haven't been seeing, we've talked before, I really like slapped my seat and I was like, you're not considering but that's very, very interesting.
Especially like the inspection report. Yeah.
Yeah.
That like, this is a good inspection report, and this is an older home, right? Until we know that there are things that are currently functioning that there's nothing we can ask for. But like, it's a 14-year-old hot water heater. It works
Yeah.
perfectly today. The day after we close, it's gonna die.
Oh, we're
You know,
seeing so
and-
many claims.
Yeah, we can ask it. Maybe
Right there.
for something that doesn't need inspection, and it's fine, it works. Yeah, so like, so as part of your inspection negotiation, it's like, okay, well, I'm not really asking for any repairs because there aren't repairs. We also see that there's a lot of older equipment. Here is the home warranty we would like for the seller to purchase it.
Peace of mind.
And then you have control over which company it is.
Yeah.
And so you know, it's like, I can stand behind this company, you're connected to the warranty because we helped put it together, you get to pay at the closing table. And your buyers have that peace of mind. I always say, this is your 1 year grace period.
Yeah.
That way, the first year you have to go back on. And after that, you could renew on your own if you want to, but it becomes a responsibility, but at least in the first year you have that.
And for a lot of people, you know, their mortgage will stay, the mortgage monthly payment will stay the same, but by the next year, the year after, they're making a little bit more.
Right.
You know, so usually it's not as scary. It's that first, because I think for the majority of buyers right now, when they look at that monthly payment, it's probably higher than what they went into it.
And a lot of people are getting a lot of savings.
Yeah.
To buy the house.
Oh, yeah.
I have 1 year to rebuild,
Yeah.
excuse me, thing is
Yeah.
helpful.
So your finances are really, and just what we talked about with the fact that you're going into a transaction, so much of your personal information is out there too. Things that might happen with, you know, identity protection. So what you're gonna do is, this is the acceptance invoice. And anybody, if you wanna send me an email, I will send you the PDFs of all this. And this is the data collection form. So if you are, so there's two ways you can use this. And if you're in Real Pro, you can do it right in the app. So don't worry about it. But for, suppose you talk to somebody, they say, no, you're not providing it. So you want to get the waiver signed on that order form. You want to do sections 1 and 4 and hit submit. That way you're covered. So if you have that transaction and then anything happens legally, we've got your waiver in place, right? If for some reason you hit submit and occasionally the link doesn't work, you can send it to me and I'll forward it on to the office. But you want to make sure you do that because you want to have that conversation with everyone, because you don't want anyone to come back and say, you know what, now I have a problem with my buyer. Why didn't you offer me that home warranty? Or they're the buyer and they're saying, you never talked to me about that. Because think about a lot of times after closing, and we've all had this happen. I think if anyone who's been in real estate for any length of time tells you that this never happened, that they walked away from the table like, ooh, if I never see that phone number show up on my phone again, I'll be happy. But guess what? How hard did you work to get that person to close it? You want to stay in touch with them. You want them in your database and you want to be working with them, but there's 3 possibilities. So something goes wrong after closing. You get a phone call from the buyer. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry that happened. Let's make sure you get the claim file. Let's get this fixed. Let's get it taken care of. Or, ooh, I'm so sorry that happened. Remember we talked about the home warranty? This is exactly the reason I wanted you to have it. Third conversation, they're telling you everything that went wrong this week when they were moving in and you never had that conversation with them. What does that sound like? What's that conversation like? And do you want to have that conversation? And is that person going to be somebody you're going to keep in your database and continue to stay in touch with? Because after that goes wrong, are you going to call them like 6 months from now and say, so how you doing? How's little Johnny? Did he, at the end first day? No, you're not. You're just going to lose that contact. And I always say with KW offices, how many people in here have been able to hear Gary Keller speak? Okay. How many people have heard Gary Keller speak for more than 5 minutes and he did not talk about the importance of their database? It doesn't happen. It's basically, I remember Mark King telling me that. He was like, no, it doesn't happen. So you're like, yeah, he knows. So your database is your business. It's your lifeblood. You want to do everything you can to keep that strong and keep working it. So the other cool thing about having a listing, so definitely if you have a buyer, we're going to send you an email and let you know when there's been a claim, which is a great warm touch. You got them the warranty or counsel them to get it. Hey, I understand, because by the time we tell you it's been paid, which means the problem has been fixed. So you call your buyer, it's just a warm touch. Hey, I heard you had a problem with the dishwasher. Just check in, just want to make sure everything's okay. But think about this, it was your listing, it closes. You or your seller paid for that warranty. We're gonna send you that email when something goes wrong. And now think about going to Real Pro, get the buyer's name, phone number, and call them and say, hey, it's Dan. You probably don't remember me. I was the listing agent, but we got you that home warranty. And I heard you had a problem with your dishwasher, your heater, whatever. Just want to make sure everything's okay. Think about the NAR stat. A year after closing, 87% of buyers cannot remember their agent's name. Why is that? Because they never heard from them. Probably because they were worried, like, what went wrong? And do I want to open Pandora's box, right? So when you call and you're like, you weren't even their agent, and you're checking them, put them in your database, who do you think's getting their future business and their referrals? It's not going to be that other agent they never heard from again.
A couple years ago, actually, when I was doing another job, I had that happen, and I called them because I heard their possible mistake because I was like, I'm gonna try this out.
Yeah.
And it was a fine conversation. I remember them. I could tell they didn't love. You could get the vibe that they didn't love situations that they were put in situations. But anyway, so I called them, and they actually said you were wrong.
Oh, so
It was crazy
Yeah.
because I followed up with them on that, and I
what is
wasn't
it gonna do for us?
so. It's weird what people will do. It's only happened once, but only one time more than it would happen once.
Keep working at it because
They were shocked to hear. And I think that was what they was also just like, yeah, you know.
You weren't even their agent.
Exactly.
So think about this. About 80% of buyers are going to have a problem in the first year.
Yeah.
So every time you get a claim, it's notification. All this things. The buyers that were yours, you're adding them to your database. You're going to end up getting business from them. Think about over the course of years as this starts to compound, how many claim forms you're going to hear about, how many phone calls you're going to make, adding people to your database and growing it. What does that mean to ultimately to your income? So this data collection form also, all four parts of it, there's a $50 fee. We're able to pay you on closed warranties, but we need all four sections completed. Same thing, you can hit submit. If for any reason it doesn't go, send it to me, I'll get it forwarded over. And that's the waiver. And real problem. So does anyone need to scan the QR code again to get the real pro? So this is just the fastest way to order. You can put it on your phone. Takes about 45 seconds to order a warranty. Do the data collection so we can pay you the $50 fee. This is just going to be a time saver for you for sure.
And know that you can put unknown.
Or NA, because I mean sometimes there isn't a dishwasher or
Right.
certain things. You can put NA. I think it's better since we're not recording this. Just if you make it a habit, the final walkthrough with buyers.
Yeah.
So put it on your phone and then just as you walk through, put it in. That's the best way. But yeah, they're really, because this is a part of the rest of compliance, they're really looking for it to be as completely filled out as possible.
And then the brand name thing was newer. You used to just be able to say like doesn't have one or not.
Or you could put in like it was home facts, it was
Yeah.
stuff that was right in the NLS. We reviewed that and what we were kind of told was, you know what? You could go get that information yourself if you wanted to, because what we're paying you for is that information. It's not a referral fee or a commission, it's a compensable service fee. And that's what we're paying you for. But that allowed us after, was it 2016 or 2018 when everything changed? That was what allowed us to continue being able to make sure agents did get a fee. A lot of our competitors just said, oh, sorry, we can't pay anymore. But we found a way that was within all of the rest of compliance to still be able to pay. And so these are the data collection forms. I really get in the habit, if you've offered the waiver, or excuse me, the home warranty to one person, offer it to everyone. No one has to buy anything they don't want, but make sure you're covered. So you can order on the app, you can order online. You can email the form to us. If you send me your email address, I'll send you the PDFs. You can call in. Some people like to do that because they like to ask questions. It does take longer. They're really good. They're wonderful in the office, but it does take a little longer. But believe it or not, occasionally we get one that shows up in the mail. And I always say, well, that was lucky that if the order made it there before they actually closed on it, because you want to order it ahead of time so the coverage begins for your buyer the day of closing. But occasionally people do mail them. It just amazes me, but it does happen. So again, real pro, if you don't have it, definitely you want to get that. And think about this too. So this is the relocation director in me. All of our listing referrals were competitive. So we send an agent out, the other broker sent another agent out. Think about your annual listing presentation. You talk about home warranty. Either you're providing it or, hey, this is something, we really recommend. I always say put it on the net sheet for the seller, because back when I first started selling real estate, the net sheet was a piece of paper. And if you cross something off, you were like, now it's digital, right? So if they say no, just remove it, right? It's gone. But that's a good time to talk with them about it. So they say, yes, I want to list with you. I love the idea of a home warranty. You pull out your phone, 45 seconds, you've ordered that warranty. Guess what? They get up the next morning and one of those covered items isn't working. You're the hero because now you can call them a claim.
And if no loss like on the listing side, are they paying out of pocket for it, or is it out of the closing table?
They pay the closing fee.
Okay, so they're not paying anything when they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's do the act.
Everything's at the closing table because we don't like payment up front because sometimes things fall through, but also sometimes dates, they get moved up or they get pushed back. So the best thing is really just pay the payment. So that's our app, and you can get it at Apple, Google, or Amazon. And then you'll see when I send you the brochure, it tells you what's covered, what isn't covered. We really want to set people's expectations so that they have a good idea of what they're getting. And then this, you can scan this, it's got all the terms and conditions, but it's also on the brochure. So what happened was our brochure has gotten smaller because people were saying, there's too much here. It was like 14 pages long. So we were able to make it smaller by taking a couple things and inserting a QR code and taking like pages of stuff out. Because think about it, and the one state we're not in is California, which we are hoping we're close with California. But if anyone's ever done business in California, so we have pages of stuff like in North Carolina, this, in that. I thought, what's going to happen when we get California? Because it's going to be like 10 pages all by itself, just California. So this way we condensed it down into a QR code. So when California gets their 10 pages, it's not going to take up a lot of ink and space like it did before. Starting a claim is super easy. They can go online, but we have 2 call centers in Michigan, 24/7, 365 days a year. We have found most people want to talk to somebody. While it's always available to go online, they want to talk to somebody. Then the first call is quick. It's just, hey, my dishwasher isn't working. We give you a claim number. They call whoever they want. They come out, diagnose the problem. Give us a quick call back so that we know it's a covered item. They can actually do the work. We'll pay them with a credit card that day before they leave the house. And that's really the key to keeping people getting back to normal quickly so that they're not upset. And then, it starts to be, you know what, Mr. Seller, tell it to the judge. That's what we want to avoid. We're there for you with client security. That does happen. But knowing, and Dan knows because we both worked at the same company, but a large kind of corporate real estate office, but 10 offices at one point. And I was in the corporate office. And believe me, I would see them come in with those registered letters a lot. And if you can avoid that, because even though you've got E&O coverage, it just sucks up so much of your time and energy to get involved in something like that. So we just want to avoid that situation. In Real Pro, you'll also see that you can order all of the materials. These are our generic materials, but we have KW branded everything. So they're free and they ship for free. So take advantage of that, order them. Because everything else is really expensive. So I'm here. If you email me, I'll send you back those PDFs. I would love to, if anybody wants to go through Real Pro, we'll do a quick 10-15 minute Zoom. I can get you set up, walk you through everything. And then we'll move on to the next the next big thing, which is really talking about your goals and how we can help you grow your business and protect it. Because we want to be your partner. You know, I know people sometimes shy away from coming to these classes, but they really think that they think I'm going to talk about hot water heaters and air conditioners and when this goes wrong and you know how much it costs and everything. It's not what I'm here for. We're really here to help you grow your business. We do that through a home warranty, but that's what we're here for, and that's why KW partners with us. They want to look out for you. They want that protection. They want all the opportunities to grow your business. So let me go back real quick if anyone didn't get it. A lot of slides. I hope I kept it moving for you. So if you do want to get real pro, and then you also want to get the social media, if you know, just you don't have a closing that day, but you want to post something, go on, post one of our things about repairs, upgrades, things like that. Not APHW branded at all. Just put them in social media, so you're there for that. You know what? I took my contact information out there. I do have parts. I have to talk to that. That's you took all my contact information off of this slide. I will. So please send it to here. And tackling that you've got our information.
Oh, yeah.
So does anybody have any questions? Because we talk about a lot of stuff here. Any questions? I know we kept you waiting. So thank you.